Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R chat for Sunday, January 15th. This week was the huge reveal. All of, leading up to, I think, 20 weeks of questions. Finally, the truth was revealed that Deacon is a dirty perv who likes to film himself having sex with women. That was the most shocking part of the week, surely. No, really, I think of all the things I could possibly believe of Deacon, it's that he likes to tape himself having sex with women and then probably watches it back on the large screen. Like, Deacon couldn't film things just with his iPhone or just with a regular camera. He has to use movie quality Super 8 film in order to catch himself on camera looking at his pecs, probably. So anyway, truly the huge revelation of the week was that there was a connection between Deacon and Diane. We've been looking for this the entire time, and it's just slowly started to unravel within the last couple weeks. But it was revealed that Deacon and Diane had a sexual relationship, and it was revealed because Nikki was deciding that she was going to catch Deacon on something. She was tired of him blackmailing her, so she's been spending at least the last 2 weeks pretending to be drunk to lull him into a false sense of security so that she could start, going through his things and trying to find out what it is that he knew about Diane's murder that he wasn't divulging. So Nikki starts to tear through his things, and she comes across his computer, and she takes it to Nick, and he asks Phyllis to get involved. Nikki was very hesitant about this, but asks Phyllis to get involved to uncover what it is on Deacon's computer that he is hiding, and that's when they find this sex tape between Deacon and Diane, and it's very convenient, folks. That's my overwhelming feeling about this whole thing, is that it just feels so convenient. I mean, there was a newspaper on the nightstand that Phyllis was able to zoom in on and see the date, that it was the night before Diane was killed. Deacon and Diane had slept together, and I'm just thinking, newspaper on the nightstand. It was conveniently faced toward the camera. It was just how convenient, just the way that this all is coming together. I hate to complain because it seems like it's finally almost over, the murder mystery of the freaking summer into fall into winter of Y&R 2011/2010, and yet I still just feel really disgruntled about the whole thing. I mean, we're watching the footage of Deacon and Diane sleeping together, and it's clear that it's not actually Mara West. So this is a scene that was filmed well after the original actress left the show, which to me just further proves that the writers are making this up as they go along. They've been making it up as they've been going along. And that just feels like such a slap in the face to me. I mean, I'm willing to go along with a lot of different things. I rarely complain, and sometimes even when things get wacky, I'm like, okay, I'll give it to you. But now this video just popping up out of nowhere that links Deacon and Diane, when, I mean, Deacon wasn't even on the scene, in our consciousness at the time that Diane died. So it's just one of those things, we never could have predicted this from the beginning. We never could have predicted any of this from the beginning, and it just irks me. Why would you start a huge murder storyline without really planning it ahead, without really knowing what you were doing? And it just kills me. But even if the storyline wasn't planned ahead from the beginning, I am kind of wondering, what was the relationship between Deacon and Diane? Is it possible that, like, Diane was helping Deacon to set Nikki up from the beginning? Was it something where it was more than just a sexual relationship? Did they try to set up Nikki for something? Because, we started to just get different little, pieces of the puzzle kind of coming together. And again, like, another thing that kills me, why would Deacon have had his camera at the park that night if he and Diane weren't cooking something up in advance? Did he just enjoy filming Nikki when she wasn't looking? Or, why was Deacon even there in the first place? It started to become revealed that Deacon pretty much had footage. I mean, Deacon was the one that shot all of the footage of everyone there that night. That collage that he put together and showed to everyone at the warehouse weeks and weeks ago. That was all of his doing, which proves that Deacon was at the park the entire night filming. Why? Why? Is still a question that lingers in my mind, and I guess, I don't know, I don't even know if we're ever going to have an answer to that, but the main footage that has come to light is the actual murder sequence. It was a bombshell dropped on all of us that the truth is, Nikki did kill Diane, and Deacon caught it on tape. Diane and Nikki argued that night on the bridge, started to struggle, and Diane conveniently had this syringe, the whole syringe thing came from Diane. Diane was apparently the originator. It's just, this whole thing, it just kills me. Didn't they find that drug in Diane's system? They went back and did an autopsy and found that drug that was in the syringe in Diane's system, and now all of a sudden she's the one that had it? Maybe I missed something, but during Nikki and Diane's struggle, Diane had the syringe in her hand, and she was trying to come at Nikki, and Nikki was trying to fend her off, and it turned out that Nikki, bashed Diane over the head with the rock to just get her away from her. Like, Diane was attacking Nikki, and Nikki had to get her off of her, and the best way she could do that was by bashing her head in with the rock, which, again, why was Diane so hostile toward Nikki? Why? I mean, well, Nikki started it. Even just from looking at the footage, Nikki clearly started it. She started pushing Diane, but why would Diane have the syringe pumped and ready to go? This storyline has aggravated me since week 1. It really has, and it's no different now. But I'm glad to finally have some evidence. I mean, Deacon tried to splice the video in a way that showed that Nikki did kill Diane. He left out all of the self-defense part, but just left in the part where, Nikki killed Diane. And there's a part of me that does kind of feel bad for Deacon. I know, it's ridiculous. But, I kind of do think that he loves Nikki in his own sick, twisted way. And I'm just wondering if it was him setting this whole thing up from the beginning so that he could entrap her into this marriage. But then again, Deacon had the video, so he had to have known this he knew that Diane was dying and he did nothing. It's just seeing the video, it was really gruesome. You could see, close-ups of blood pouring out of her head. So he had a chance to do some artistic work there. He was zoomed in as the blood was pouring out of the head of the woman that he slept with the night before. As soon as the truth became revealed, Ronan, who was very involved in the final moments, Ronan, says to Deacon, "Look, buddy, you're going to be charged with obstruction of justice and withholding evidence." And I'm thinking, blah, 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 who cares? He watched this entire fight go down and did nothing. He watched Diane die and did nothing. Surely that would make him eligible for some sort of charge of murder. You can't just watch somebody die and stand back and not get charged. I mean, in most states, I think. So I'm just very surprised because, like, I've always seen that Deacon was a scumbag. Like, I mean, Deacon was always someone who was messed up. He was sleazy. You know, he's always been sleazy. But I never got the impression that Deacon was violent, that he was the violent type. And we started seeing these scenes midweek where Nikki's trying to sneakily go through Deacon's things, and she doesn't realize that he's caught on to her. And while she's tip-tap typing on his computer, he's standing behind her with, like, this scarf that's, you know, wrung around one hand, like he's getting ready to choke her to death with a scarf. And I'm like, that doesn't even seem like Deacon. It's only been within the last week or so that suddenly they're starting to paint him as this homicidal maniac, and he's doing a good job of it. I mean, I don't know if it was just after he started drinking again, because Deacon, for all of his flaws, was sober, or it seems. I mean, was he? I don't know. Who knows? But it appeared that Deacon was sober for most of the time that this was going down, and just at the end, he fell back onto the sauce, and then he started being, having these violent tendencies. And I just found that to be kind of shocking, and I'm sure that he is going to end up going to jail for at least a couple of months, which coincides with what we know about the actor's contract. He's pretty much going to be leaving the show for a while, but he will be back in the spring. So I'm sure that they're going to charge Deacon with these small little charges, obstruction of justice or whatever, and then he'll probably be back in the spring once he gets out of jail to cause trouble for Nikki and Victor just as they're getting back together. I'll bet you. What do you want to bet? But, it looks like Nikki's going to be off the hook completely, which is, I knew they were going to weasel out of this. I should have known that nobody was going to ultimately get charged with Diane's murder. I mean, for everyone that had a motive to kill her, in the end, it turned out to be just self-defense, even though Diane had no motive herself for coming after Nikki with the syringe. Diane had no motive for attacking Nikki or anyone else. Diane was just about to get out of town and leave Genoa City forever, so I don't even know. I just don't even know. I'm so surprised that it didn't turn out that Diane is still alive. I'm so surprised that it didn't turn out that she wasn't setting them all up, or that she wasn't behind this. And who knows? I mean, maybe it still will be. I guess there's more still to be revealed. But I'm sure that Nikki's going to be completely off of the hook, considering it was self-defense. It's just too bad that she couldn't learn this evidence like 10 minutes earlier so that she could go to the jail and stop Victor and Sharon from making like the hugest mistake of their lives. It was literally, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Nikki opens up the door, shocked look on her face. Victor and Sharon kiss, and then just hopes dashed. I mean, everything was building up to this. Nikki started to uncover the truth, and just as she did, she realized that, wait a minute, if I didn't kill Diane, then there's no reason for Victor to continue lying. There's no reason for him to continue being in jail. So Nikki runs to the jail to try to stop this obnoxious wedding, absurd wedding between Victor and Sharon. But it's too late. It's too late. And now Victor and Sharon are husband and wife, sharing their first kiss ever at the ceremony, by the way. I mean, there was no... I mean, Victor and Sharon haven't even been able to touch in months. I mean, it was... And not only that, but, like, Sharon did kind of give Victor an out before the ceremony. She said to him, are you sure that you want to do this? Even though Nikki had come to Victor earlier and pleaded with him, told him that they were really close to nailing Deacon. begged him not to marry Sharon. And even so, Sharon's like, are you sure? And of course, Victor decides to go ahead with it. But like right during that little scene where right before she gives him the out, and Victor just says, you know, yeah, I'm going to go ahead with it. And then he kind of moves in to give her a kiss, and it's on the forehead. Victor and Sharon's first kiss on the forehead. Even though I think possibly, I kind of have a feeling that like, I think maybe several years ago, way back, I do think Sharon smooched Victor. I do think there was a brief moment where she disgraced herself while she was married to Nick and smooched Victor. But I mean, but still, this is they're engaged to be married, and his first kiss to her is on the forehead. It's just it says everything right there. It just kills me. And you know, the thing is, I think we saw from the previews of next week's show that Victor is gonna learn that, you know, that Deacon has been charged with this and that, and that the video footage has come out. And I think we saw from the previews that Michael's gonna come to Victor and kind of tell him, well, guess what? You can get out of jail now. And Victor is like, no, I think I want you to just not do anything. It's just, it's Victor wants to be in jail. That's the net of the whole thing. I mean, I think, yes, he was there on a level to protect Nikki, but I'm starting to believe that his even larger plan is about nailing Adam. He wants to stay in jail so that Adam can continue running his company into the ground and probably causing himself to become liable for something. I'm like, Victor, you don't have to be in jail to make that happen, and he's just loving it. It's like a free vacation for him, you know? He gets 3 squares and all the punching bags he can want, you know? I mean, I'm sure it's like free gym time there in jail, so he seems to be enjoying it. And, you know, meanwhile, he is really, really getting up underneath Adam's skin. He's married to Sharon now. Which I'm surprised that Victor's relationship with Nikki and love for Nikki is outweighed by Victor's hatred for his own son. It just really, really kills me. I mean, Sharon is such a pawn in this entire thing. I mean, as she comes in to see Victor in her wedding gown with her one little rose, I'm just thinking, she just looks like the Princess Bride, you know? She just looks like someone who is doing something out of loyalty. She's marrying him out of loyalty and not out of love, or out of, you know, maybe respect or guilt or obligation, but not out of love. Meanwhile, Adam is someone who actually really does love her, and she is being completely and totally blind to that. And it just kills me. It really does just kill me. Especially because Adam is such a lonely man at this point. It's very sad to see him sitting in his office all on his own at Newman. And, you know, he's trying to make moves to get back at Victor. It's just like this, you know, back and forth between Victor and Adam. And Adam has decided that he's going to sell off Beauty of Nature, and that's going to do a really good job of ticking Victor off. Although, you know, he also seems to know in another part of his brain that he's being set up, because Adam approached Tucker this week to try to offer him Beauty of Nature, to give him first crack at it. Like, I'm going to sell Beauty of Nature, and if you want to get on the deal, then here you go. I'll give you the number. Of course, Tucker doesn't really want to have anything to do with that, but Adam sort of tries to make a backup plan with Tucker, and, you know, lets him know that if I get fired from my job here at Newman, being the CEO, I would love to have a job at McCullough Industries, which is, which I don't even know why Adam continues to stay in Genoa City at this point. I mean, he's got nothing. Of course, Tucker is not the only person who might be interested in Beauty of Nature. I'm even surprised that that Adam offered Beauty of Nature to Tucker. Like, Tucker wanted Beauty of Nature because he owned Jabot, because he wanted to combine it to create this huge cosmetics firm. But now Jack owns Jabot, so I don't know why Tucker should even be interested in it. And by the way, Tucker, you have a mullet. I really like you. I think that you're a great character. I think he's strong. I think he's interesting. I like him with Ashley, but he has a mullet. It's time that we address this. I can't ignore it any longer. I mean, it's like, and even if like it's not technically short on the sides, he sweeps it back. It's like gelled back with his hair behind his ears, and it looks like he has a mullet. It's, you know, he's a good-looking guy. He's getting up there in age, and it's time to have an appropriate haircut that matches him and his style. It's just ridiculous. It's just really, truly ridiculous. But I have a feeling that he is not going to bid for Beauty of Nature. Why would he? Clearly, Jack is the one who should have Beauty of Nature, who wants it bad enough. I mean, I don't even know, honestly, how Jack is getting the money to pay for it. I mean, Jack barely had enough money to buy Jabot. I don't know how he scraped together enough money to buy that, and now where is he going to get the money to offer Adam Beauty of Nature? So, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to end up doing it. I don't know if Adam's going to end up getting his parachute out of Newman Enterprises. I mean, Victor can't stay in jail for too much longer, so as soon as he does get out, I can't imagine, I mean, I think Adam can feel that his days at Newman are limited, so he's wanting to bail out and go somewhere else. And as soon as he does, as soon as Victor gets out of jail, as soon as Adam gets out of Newman, they're both gonna probably be shocked to find that Nick is now going to be working for Tucker. You know, the last little hanging strings on the Diane murder mystery, I think, have to do with Patty. Now, was I imagining things this week, or was Patty sweeping up around Genevieve's house, and did my eyes deceive me, or did she pick up a dust bunny off of the floor, have it in her hand, start stroking it, and talking to it like it was Mr. Kitty? Like, did that happen? What the hell? Like, this is another situation where, okay, I will sit through some ridiculous scenes. Like, I will watch someone petting a dust bunny and talking to it. But don't treat me, YNR, like I am an idiot viewer. Don't treat me like I don't deserve a well thought out storyline. It just kills me, because I think that, I bet you they went back and filmed, all of those scenes with Nikki at the bridge before Mara West ever left the show. I mean, first of all, when Diane, I'm back on this, I can't get away from this, but when Diane was murdered, Melody Thomas Scott was off of the show. They didn't even know if she was going to renew her contract or not. There was, in fact, some bad blood, it seemed, around her and the writers. So we know for sure that it was, they had no clue. The writers had no clue who was going to kill Diane or how the whole thing was going to pan out when she died. They literally just, like, shotgunned us with information everywhere. It was all over the place. The key and the syringe and the rock and, I mean, just everything. I mean, there's a ton of, everyone was a suspect. The poison sumac, everyone was a suspect. Everybody had motive. You know, how did she end up in the water? By the way, you know, Nikki bashed her over the head with the rock. How did she end up in the water? What happened with Victor and his shoe prints on the scene? What happened with Victoria? Did Victoria see what happened or not? I mean, what? There's still, I just get the feeling that none of this is ever going to connect in my brain, and I resent it. I resent that. I resent being taken on a wild goose chase. I want clean-cut storylines that make sense. Not something that you dragged out for 20 weeks and then tacked something on at the end. You know, that tack a resolution on at the end. That irks me. That just, I don't know who's behind that, but it just kills me. I'm not a stupid viewer. You know, in fact, I really think that Y&R is set apart from a lot of soap operas, or a lot of, you know, kind of some of the other soap operas, in that they don't treat us like idiots. You know, I mean, they're well thought out storylines. It's not typically. And now here we are with this, and it just really bugs me. I don't normally feel this, you know, but I just do. I just do. And now there's Patty. Patty, also somebody who was totally not on the scene at the time of Diane's murder. And now she's here, and she's got her stupid freaking pillows. And now Patty has pages from Diane's diary. Patty ripped out a page of Diane's diary that she never decided to reveal before, that she pinned on Ronan's car, which is, I mean, I don't know, the page from the diary was Diane talking about having sex with somebody. I don't know, I'm assuming now that it has to have been Deacon. I guess she was writing in her diary about Deacon or whatever, but I don't know how Patty got her hands on Diane's diary. I don't know if Patty, I mean, was Patty at the park the entire time too? I mean, because again, it was another thing where Patty, or they had those knitted pillows, which maybe in all fairness, they knew that they were going to bring Patty back from the beginning. I don't know, because otherwise, I don't know how they were going to fit those stupid pillows into the storyline. But now we have Patty, who knitted all of those pillows from the beginning, and then at the end, she throws in a pillow for Deacon. If she knew Deacon was there the entire time, I mean, Deacon is as guilty. If Patty was there on the scene and she saw what happened between Nikki and Diane, then she knew that it was self-defense. And then she also knew that Deacon was there watching it and filming it. So why wouldn't she have done more to point things in the direction of Deacon? And what role does Adam play in this, by the way? I mean, he and Diane were supposedly having this big plan to fake her death, to make, you know, Victor pay for, to make Victor go to jail. And, you know, the one thing that did end up coming out of this was that Victor went to jail. So how did Adam play into that? You know, did he have any part in this whatsoever? Was he, it doesn't seem like he was involved in bringing Patty back into town, because he's dodging her at every single step along the way, but I don't know. I just still feel like that's a loose end. So I always kind of was assuming that Patty would end up getting the Diane's murder pinned on her, since she's the crazy one. But now, if it was truly self-defense with Nikki, then I can't imagine that Patty's going to be at all suspected with that. So what? Patty's just going to hang around and continue to torture Jack and Genevieve, or continue to just sneak around Genoa City for how long, and why? Obviously, I'm a little bit of a disgruntled viewer right now. It really did bother me the way Phyllis said to Nick this week that Ronan was just a distraction for her. You know, it bugs me, because at the time it was almost like she was trying to pretend like there was some deep connection between she and Ronan, and now that Ronan broke up with her, he was just a distraction from Nick. So what do you guys feel about Phyllis and Nick being back together? I mean, honestly, I kind of can't believe that Phyllis is taking Nick back, because it's one thing for Phyllis to sleep with Ronan, because in many ways she kind of was doing that in retaliation to Nick, but Nick slept with her sister. That's a little bit different. I mean, Phyllis goes out and boinks the local cop. That's just one thing. But Nick slept with her sister after Phyllis pleaded with him not to, tried to tell him that Avery was after him, tried to warn him, and yet Nick still went after that, and that just feels like a huge, that just feels like a bigger betrayal to me. I mean, I don't know. All things being equal, I just think that seems like a bigger betrayal. But, just in general, I Phyllis made a point this week about how Nick is never really able to let go of his exes. That seems to be his MO. As someone mentioned to me last week, Nick doesn't like anybody else playing with his toys. You know, once he like marks his woman, he doesn't want anybody else coming near it. And that just poses a problem, because even though Nick insisted this week that there is zero romance left between him and Sharon, and that may very well be true right now, but what happens in another couple years? You know, I know that Nick and Phyllis share a child together, and they do have a deep connection, but sometimes I just worry that their connection is just mostly based on sex. You know, they have this great sexual chemistry, and, you know, they have a nice little family, and they were there this week playing video games with Summer, and it was really cute. I mean, they do have a nice family. I just worry that Nick is a cheater. I worry that he is, you know, if not going back to Sharon, I worry that, you know, Avery is going to continue to be a problem in their marriage. You know, it was never in Phyllis and Nick's relationship. I mean, Nick and Avery kind of broke up, but it wasn't that he wasn't attracted to her. It wasn't that he didn't find her compelling. So I just wonder if he's going to continue to find her compelling in the future. And I liked Phyllis when she finally broke the cycle. I mean, I think Phyllis and Nick have chemistry and have a lot of good qualities. They have a lot of goodness between them. But I liked Phyllis when she became this independent woman apart from him, because it always feels like no matter what, she seems to be, I don't know, chasing him or never feeling completely secure in the relationship. And I just know from experience that is a sucky feeling, to not feel secure in the relationship, to always feel like that person is going to leave you. And I like Phyllis and I like Nick, but I just wonder if Nick is able to continue to be faithful to her. And I just like Phyllis enough to want more for her. I loved this week that Billy was able to beat Chelsea at her own game. He comes up to her at the coffee house and he starts laying on the Abbott charm, and he says to her, "Come on, tell me the truth about what happened that night. Just you and me. Just tell me what exactly happened." And he got her to admit that she seduced him and that they had sex, but that it was purely consensual. And then bing bing, Billy pulls out of his pocket a recorder, caught the whole thing on tape, caught her entire confession on tape, and just the look on her face was like, gulp. This puts a damper on my plans. So that was really, really good to see that happen. Although I'm still tired of Billy's crap. You know, I'm still fed up with him, you know, like, and I feel bad for Victoria. She's married to this guy that is kind of a perpetual screw up. Whether or not sometimes he has the best of intentions, he just always seems to step in the pothole. And I'm glad to know that, you know, that they were able to catch Chelsea in this lie, but at the same time, I'm like, wow, great, Victoria. Congratulations. Your husband didn't rape a woman. Yay! I mean, most people don't get caught in that situation anyway. It's Billy puts himself in these situations, and he was very happy to show her that recording, and she was like, oh, I didn't doubt you for a minute. I knew that you wouldn't have forced yourself on her, and clearly you only slept with her because she looks so much like me. But at the same time, you know, maybe he didn't rape her, but he still ran away to Asia. He still slept with someone else. I mean, I don't know if it turned out, she didn't seem to really admit if she had drugged him or not, but he shouldn't have run away to Asia in the first place. He shouldn't have ran out on her in the first place. When things went wrong in their marriage, he bolted, and I cannot forgive him for that right now. I don't know why. I'm having a hard time. And as someone else mentioned to me last week, we spent so much time with Billy feeling guilty about this thing that he did when he was back at the trailer being held hostage by Victor. Billy was so guilty about this thing that he did in Myanmar, that he would stay away from his daughter while she was lying in a bed in the hospital with cancer. And now, the revelation that the thing that he did that was so bad was get drugs planted on him and then sleep with somebody? Like, that's it? I mean, he could have gotten out of the drug charges pretty easy. It seemed like the thing that he was really, really ashamed about was whatever happened with the woman on the beach. And now we know that that was Chelsea and that they slept together. That's what kept you away from your child for months? That's just lame. That's just lame. Billy is just, I know that there are times when his heart's in the right place, and he is a lovable screw-up, but he's still a screw-up, and it's just, it's hard for me. It's hard for me for some reason to want to forgive him, and I just worry that Victoria puts on her blinders when it comes to him, and I just wonder how long she's going to be content to, put a bib on him and feed him his dinner or clean up after his messes. But she just wants him so badly, and she wants a baby so badly. And I felt so horrible for her this week when she came to Nikki's hotel room and said to her, I've been trying to get pregnant with Billy's baby for years. And he sleeps with this person, this random stranger, one time, and has a baby. I mean, that's gotta be killing her. That is horrible. That is just, infidelity is hard enough to grasp. And then to have to deal with a baby coming out of it, in the same right. I just think that would be horrible. Yet, at the same time, I think, well, Chelsea, she lied about the rape, so why wouldn't she have found a way to be lying about the baby? Again, I just don't trust these paternity results. I really do wonder if the baby is really Billy's. I wonder if it was something that she did intentionally, or if it is something part of such a greater plan. Clearly, she has money on her mind. She wasn't making enough by planting drugs on people in Myanmar. She, finally someone wandered into her life that she saw as a meal ticket, and so she, either got pregnant with her baby or is pretending that this is his baby in a very elaborate way, but she is really enjoying her fancy schmancy breakfasts at the athletic club. She wants to stay in a fancy schmancy hotel room there. She wants money. She actually tried to extort Billy this week, and she said, hey, look, you know what? Are you getting tired of me yet? Are you sick of me being up in your face? Well, why don't you just give me, $3 million, and I'll stay out of your hair. You'll never see me again. $3 million, and that'll be it. Oh, but Chelsea counted on the fact that Billy and Victoria would just want her to go away, that they would just pay her to go away. But she counted wrong. She counted really, really wrong. She didn't happen to realize how badly Victoria wants a baby. And I really did like during the conversation with Billy and Chelsea where Billy told Chelsea, I think maybe you might have gotten the wrong impression of my wife, because she was mad and angry for about 24 hours, but then the claws came out, and just so you know, little girl, Victoria Newman will rip you apart and eat you for breakfast. And I really liked that, and I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. I mean, if it seemed from the previews on Monday's show that they are going to try to force Chelsea to move in with them, just as I predicted, so that they can keep an eye on her and the baby. I just wonder how long it's going to be before Victoria hooks up with a lawyer and tries to get that kid snatched right away from her. I'm kind of liking the friendship that's developing between Billy and Kane. I never would have expected it, because those two have always been hard and fast enemies, but ever since Kane helped Billy out of his situation, they seem to have developed a little bit of a friendship, and it's just nice. Kane has never really had any friends. And he needs some friends. And in some ways, it's sort of neat to see Kane and Lily double dating with Billy and Victoria. I mean, it adds a little something extra. I mean, shoot, Victoria needs some friends too. It was interesting at Chloe and Kevin's almost wedding. Victoria had this moment where she looked at Chloe and said, "We're really friends. You know, we really are." And it just almost seemed like Victoria was lonely to have a friend. You know, she doesn't have anybody. So I think it would be good for her maybe to hang out with Lily a little bit. And I'm also very happy that Billy is giving Lily a photo shoot as kind of a thank you to Kane, which, I don't know, she shouldn't really need handouts or whatever, but Billy has proposed that they do sort of like a day in the life of a model sort of story on her, which is also weird considering it doesn't even seem like Lily has modeled in quite a while, but I wish that maybe they should have gone with a different angle. But I want to see Lily get back to her career. You know, whether it's modeling or, you know, going back to school or choosing something else. I want to see more from her. I don't want her to just be this one-dimensional, like Kane toy, you know, just this little toy that Kane plays with and bats around. Like, I want to see her become a strong woman and get her own career and see how she balances having these two babies with a career and a marriage and, you know, all that. And I don't know, maybe I will start to forgive Kane. It's possible. I am more and more starting to come around to it. You know, I mean, Lily kind of surprised Kane at Jimmy's this week, and they're back together. I mean, she pops into the bar and she's all smiles to tell him about this photo shoot, and it's very sweet. And you know, I do think they are good together if Kane can get his act together and stop lying. I mean, people can change, and maybe if Kane can pull it off, maybe Billy can pull it off, and I can start to forgive him too. I don't really want to hold these grudges. I just want to look at all their buns. I mean, when it comes right down to it, I just want to look at their buns. And I want to ogle them, and I want to see them all in cute little outfits, and maybe with their shirts off in some sex scenes, and I want to see them being sweet. I don't want to have to hold this grudge. It's a lot of weight to have to carry. But, you know, while Lily is really, you know, kind of getting back in touch with her relationship with Kane, just kind of throwing caution to the wind in some ways. I mean, she's looking at him with love eyes. She clearly is. And, you know, in one way, it's like, that's so nice. And then you have this juxtaposition of poor Sophia, new mommy, sitting at home, just moved into Neil's house, sitting at home on the sofa, watching her wedding video and looking at Neil's face and realizing that he looked like he just would have rather been anywhere on the planet other than standing there getting married to her. How heartbreaking. Sophia was this, gosh, she was this strong businesswoman when she came onto the show, and all of a sudden she just seems sad. I mean, she's probably going through a lot right now. Her life has changed a lot within the last year. She went from like having her career, having her stuff all together, being in charge at McCall, having Malcolm, being engaged to him, being married to him, and now everything is turned upside down for her. It seems like she is kind of being a stay-at-home mom. Maybe she's just at leave from work. I'm sure she'll get back to work sooner or later, but she's now kind of moved into Neil's world. You know, she's living in his apartment. She's on his turf, and she's got this new baby, this new life. I mean, who knows? She could be having some level of postpartum, and she confronts Neil and says, "Look at this video. You look sad. You look sad to be married to me. I mean, if you don't want to be in this marriage, don't be in this marriage." And Neil, his way of comforting her was to say, well, don't look at that video. Let's look at the video of Christmas where Moses was opening up his first presents. Didn't you see me being happy then? You know, look at it. You know, look at his birth video, and then didn't you see me being happy then? And it's like, well, that's great, Neil. You've basically just proven that you love Moses. That's not what her concern is. Her concern is, do you love her? Do you have feelings for her? I mean, we know that you love Moses, but that does not mean that you love his mother, and that's what she's looking looking for. And I think in some ways, Neil is starting to kind of look for reasons to get out of the house. He's been putting in his resume around Genoa City, and he's just looking for a place to get a job. And fortunately for him, news of that sort of crept through the grapevine and found its way to Katherine Chancellor. And she approached him this week like a boss. She comes into his apartment and she says, you know, Neil, I want you to put all of this stuff behind us. Everything that I did with Devon, I'm sorry. You know, you're missed at my company. You're missed on a personal level, and I want you to come back to work with me. And Neil kind of blew her off a little bit, but I think he knows deep down in his heart that he is going to end up going back to Chancellor. But the moment, just in that scene when Katherine was at Neil's apartment, I just loved it, because Neil was like, okay, well, I understood your offer, and now I'm going to hand you your coat. And Katherine was just like, gee, thanks. She just had this like look on her face, and she just said, gee, thanks. You know, I'm here to offer you something, a position. It's not going to be available for long, and you're giving me the bum's rush out the door. And just, there was just this moment before Katherine walked out the door that she just took a moment, and she stood back and she just looked around Neil's apartment. Like, this is just the mark of a pro, G.N. Cooper. Like, before she was gonna walk out the door of a scene, she was gonna, like, you know what, I'm gonna take an extra couple seconds to just stop. I don't even have any lines. I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna look back, and I'm just gonna look around Neil's apartment. I'm gonna take that moment, make it one more time all about me, and then I'm gonna just walk out the door. It was just the whole thing just to me said, like a boss. I'm sure that Neil wishes that he could get a job at Restless Style so that he could spend a little bit more time with Harmony, because clearly there's going to be something developing between he and Harmony. Now, I don't really know how I feel about Harmony working at Restless Style. It just doesn't totally seem to fit her. I mean, I don't know, Restless Style has become a gossip magazine, and Harmony just seems like she's real earthy. Like, she's just down to earth. She does seem like she has a great sense of style, but I don't know how I feel about her, like, just taking orders from Phyllis. You know, they had a couple scenes together last week where basically Phyllis, you know, kind of gives Harmony an order and she completes it correctly, or Harmony does something that Phyllis likes and Phyllis is like, we're gonna get along just fine. And there was just something kind of condescending in Phyllis's voice that I didn't really like. Yeah, as if, you know, you're gonna do fine here as long as you continue to kiss my ass. And that just doesn't seem like Harmony to me. Harmony doesn't seem like someone who would kiss anybody's ass. So I don't like her running around, you know, trying to, you know, just be like, yes, Miss Phyllis, anything you want, Miss Phyllis. Just, there's something about that just doesn't feel right, having her under Phyllis's thumb. And also, I feel like Phyllis and Harmony are getting along right now, but for how long? Like, how long is that gonna last? Because in real life, I think that Harmony should, like, eat Phyllis for breakfast. You know, I think Harmony could rip Phyllis limb from limb. And I would really actually love to see that happen, especially because we know that, you know, Harmony has just become this character that is so much like Drew. She's the closest thing to Drew that we've had ever since Drew. So, like, to see her in there kissing Phyllis's butt when someone like Drew always had a contentious relationship with Phyllis. In fact, it was Phyllis and her argument, her, you know, constant, you know, problems arguing with Sharon over Nick that caused Drew to die. Phyllis and Sharon, let us never forget that it was Phyllis and Sharon arguing on top of the mountain at that photo shoot, and I think they were like trying to argue over a cell phone or something, and Drew stepped in to try to help Sharon, who was one of her best friends, and just lost her footing, was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and whew, right over the mountain. So it just seems odd to see someone like Harmony being so submissive to someone like Phyllis. Now, what I do like is seeing Harmony and Tucker working together to help Devon. Devon is having a hard time working on his mix this week. I mean, I guess it never totally I don't know, Devon's hearing problem has just been going on for so long that I think it's become it just got a little bit into the background for me, and so I wasn't fully conceptualizing the fact that he's a music producer who has he's hard of hearing. So he has this cochlear implant that is, that helps him hear some things, but it doesn't help him distinguish against different pitches, or, so he's having trouble, mixing this single for Angelina. So Harmony, who's just, finding little reasons. Harmony works upstairs from Devon, so she runs down to hand him a package that was delivered to them by mistake, and she catches him having this really hard time, and then she takes it upon herself to go back and start researching some ways that possibly they could get him some help. She goes and she sees that both Tucker's company and Katherine's company have made sizable contributions to foundations that do research around this type of hearing loss that Devon has. And so she goes to Tucker, and she's very resourceful. She tells him that, your son's having this problem, and, you made this donation to this company, so why don't you give the CEO a call and see if there's something that we can do? And so it's just, it's nice. It's nice to see Harmony trying to make up for things that she's done in her past by, in a real sincere way, giving Devon something that he needs, what could be probably one of the greatest gifts. She's taking charge on that. And it's nice also that she went to Tucker first. She could have gone right to Katherine. She's much closer to Katherine, but she also, instead of wanting to shut Tucker out of Devon's life, she wants to help facilitate that relationship between Tucker and Devon. So it's kind of nice, I don't want to see Neil and Lily become ostracized as part of Devon's life, but I have to admit it is kind of nice to see Devon and Tucker and Harmony as a little family unit. Gloria and Angelo are getting closer and closer. They go on a date this week, and they start to talk about the nature of their relationship. And, Gloria's been hurt, but yet she, is seeing Angelo as being someone who is a provider for her, whereas some of the other men she's dated have just dragged her down. And so she decides to let Angelo know that she is gonna be his girl. Ooh, bada bing! Gloria's gonna be Angelo's girl. It's kind of funny. I wonder though, you can tell that even though Gloria is dating Angelo, there is some intrepidation behind her eyes where she's not over Jeff, and I think that she doesn't know what to make of Angelo. And let's not forget that Angelo gave Gloria back her bar. When things went south at Glowworm, Angelo came in to bail her out financially, and then as a Christmas gift, I believe it was, he decided to give her his portion, his buy-in of the business, so that she could become a complete owner of Glowworm again. However, there was something in the papers that Michael saw and found suspicious. And I don't know exactly what that was. They haven't addressed it any further, but I'm almost kind of wondering if, Angelo gave Gloria back the bar on a condition that she would marry him, maybe, or something. I'm wondering if there isn't something in the contract about, their relationship, that if Gloria decides that she wants to leave Angelo, she's going to lose the bar. That's where I think this is all heading. And I just wonder if Gloria knows that. I wonder if she knows that now, or if she's just completely in this vulnerable position. I'm trying to figure out if Gloria is kind of working Angelo, or if she is genuinely trying to move on with her life with him. But either way, I'm sure that little clause in the contract is going to come into play within the next at least week or two, because as Angelo is furious with Kevin and Angelina for running away together, which I'm surprised that Angelo wouldn't sense that this was one of his little angel's little plans. I'm surprised he's being so aggressive towards Kevin, wanting to break his legs. Angelina and Kevin are on the run, and they decide to head off to Angelo's cabin, which I assume is somewhere on the Jersey Shore. something. Apparently it's a very, very deserted cabin on some kind of island where there's like nobody else around ever. Because as Angelina and Kevin arrive at the cabin, they realize that, kind of seems like maybe somebody else has been living here. Now, who could it be? And just as their curiosity has piqued the most, Jeff walks into the cabin, and it is revealed that that's where Jeff has been staying this entire time. So Jeff is like, wait a minute, Kevin, what are you doing here? And Kevin's like, well, what are you doing here? And you know, Kevin of course lets Jeff know that everybody thinks Jeff left Gloria, left her high and dry, took all of her money, and is just gone for good. And Jeff's like, I would never. Clearly Jeff is still holding a very strong torch for Gloria, but Angelo's been holding him hostage in this cabin, which it's very difficult for me to believe that he's been on this island the entire time and hasn't been able to get off. But Kevin and Angelina got there by boat, and just when Kevin and Angelina weren't looking, Jeff snuck out, stole the boat, and he's on his way back to Genoa City, probably to regain his life and regain his woman. Okay, well, those are my thoughts about the show for this week. Some have been good and happy and satisfied, and some have been enraged. I'm almost a little embarrassed by how upset the Diane situation gets me. It's just that when I am watching anything having to do with the Diane murder mystery, I'm feeling confused. You know, I pay attention pretty closely to the show. I mean, I do try to watch it, you know, and try to remember things and process things, and I don't have the greatest long-term memory, but I really thought that I wanted to pay attention to every facet of this murder, and a part of me wanted to figure it out. I wanted the mystery to be solvable from the beginning, you know, but instead it just felt like they're just throwing just everything in except for the kitchen sink, and that feels frustrating to me. And as somebody who's watched the show for 16 years, I have a certain expectation. You know, there's a certain amount of I don't know, pride I take in the fact that Y&R is a good, well thought out, well written show, and it does bug me when I see that that they're just kind of phoning it in. I don't know. Do you guys feel that way? Maybe I am totally alone. I have no idea. It seems from most people that I've talked to that they're just, I mean, nobody's really into the storyline. Maybe, you know, and in some ways I'm like, just get it over with. I don't even care. I'm just wrap it up, get it done with, and we'll just stop talking about it so we can move on to better things. Get Victor the heck out of jail, get him unmarried to Sharon, and just let's be done with it already. Can we just move on to something well thought out? I mean, for crying out loud, it's been going on since July. Anyway. It's time for you to vent. It's time for you to give it to me. Let me know if you're happy, angry, sad, whatever your emotions are. Please, there is a text box below where I am speaking to you right now, and you can type out a message to me and let me know everything you're thinking about the show this week, whether you agree with me, disagree with me, whatever. I can't wait to hear what you guys are thinking. There's also just below this video a little button that says share, and what you can do is you can click that button and it'll give you a link to this video, and I think you can also choose a little button below that says embed this video. So if you would like, you can share this video on your Facebook page, or share this video on your Twitter page with other fans of the show, and help spread the word. Or if you click the embed button, you can also embed this video on your blog or your website or wherever. So anywhere you guys talk about Y&R, if you can help me out by spreading spreading the word about my YNR chat with nice people, not jerks. You know, if you know of any nice little nooks of people, please try to get them interested, and we'll try to get them talking about the show, and maybe more people maybe will help me calmly process these storylines, help keep me grounded. So please do help spread the word, but more importantly, it makes me happy to hear your comments and to get your feedback. That's the most important thing to me. So contact me and leave me your comments, and I will look forward to reading them and to responding to them. So, ooh, my camera just cut out on me. I guess that's a sign that it's time to go. So everybody, I love you so much, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye!